Okay, let's jump right in. When we think of major diseases, our minds usually go straight to some terrifying outside invader, right? Like a virus or bacteria breaching the gates. But today's explainer is about something vastly different and, honestly, profoundly more personal. We're looking at the journey of a cell. We want to understand cancer not as this external threat, but as a microscopic rebellion happening entirely within our own bodies. Right now, literally at this very second, you have trillions of cells working together in perfect, beautiful harmony just to keep you breathing and functioning. But imagine a scenario for a second. What if just one single cell, out of those trillions, suddenly decided to break the rules of survival? It sounds like a tiny, insignificant glitch, right? But that incredibly small, microscopic rebellion is exactly what sparks the disease we know as cancer. So here's our roadmap for today. First up, the cellular rebellion. Then we'll look at growth, spread, and signs. Section 3 covers diagnosis and modern treatment. Fourth, we'll dive into prevention and bust some common myths. And finally, we'll look ahead at the future of medicine. Section 1, the cellular rebellion, how a single mutation sparks a microscopic uprising. All right, let's start by looking at how a normal, healthy cell operates. You can think of your cells as highly obedient rule followers. They have this strict, orderly life cycle. Step 1, they grow naturally. Step 2, when the time is right, they perfectly copy their DNA and divide to replace the older cells. And step 3, and this is a critical one, they undergo apoptosis. That's really just a fancy word for programmed, natural cell death. When a cell gets old or damaged, it essentially sacrifices itself to keep the whole body in harmony. It's a remarkably precise system. But cancer is the exact opposite. It's the uncontrolled growth of abnormal cells. So how does that happen? Well, it all comes down to damage to the cell's instruction manual, its DNA. When mutations in these genes build up over years, the cell basically stops listening to the body's stop signs. It completely ignores that command for apoptosis we just talked about. It escapes those normal regulatory mechanisms, refuses to die, and just keeps dividing and multiplying totally out of control. Moving on to Section 2, growth, spread, and signs. When the rebellion expands. As these rebel cells keep multiplying, they eventually form a mass, which we call a tumor. But there is a massive difference between the two main types of tumors. Benign tumors are generally slow-growing and, crucially, they stay put. They don't invade other parts of your body. Malignant tumors, on the other hand, are the aggressive ones. They invade nearby healthy tissues, and worse, they can actually break apart, jump into your bloodstream or lymphatic system, and form secondary tumors somewhere completely different. That dangerous process is what we call metastasis. And because the cellular rebellion can start literally anywhere, cancer isn't just one single disease. The battleground actually dictates the type. If it starts in surface tissues or your skin, it's a carcinoma. If it originates in structural support like bone or muscle, we call it a sarcoma. Liquid environments have their own names entirely, like leukemia in the blood or lymphoma in the immune system. Basically, where that initial rebellion kicks off dictates the entire nature of the disease. So, what's actually causing the DNA damage that sets this whole thing off? Well, some known risk factors are completely within our control. Things like smoking, heavy alcohol use, obesity, and poor diet. Others are environmental. Think UV rays from the sun, radiation, or pollution. Interestingly, certain viruses like HPV or hepatitis can trigger DNA damage too. In fact, viruses are linked to roughly 15% of all human cancers. And then, of course, there are the factors we just can't control, like inherited genetic mutations, or simply aging, which naturally increases the chances of cellular errors over time. Now, when things go wrong, your body doesn't just stay quiet. It sounds an alarm. This can happen systemically, like unexplained weight loss, extreme fatigue, or night sweats. Or it might be much more localized, like a persistent cough, difficulty swallowing, or a noticeable change in a mole. Now, having these doesn't automatically mean cancer, but they are your body's early warning system. Recognizing these signs early, absolutely key to survival. Which brings us to Section 3, diagnosis and modern treatment. The medical counterattack. When someone goes in with symptoms, doctors will use blood tests, biopsies, and advanced imaging to determine the stage of the disease. Stage 0 means early abnormal cells haven't spread at all. By stage 1, it's localized to one specific area. Stages 2 and 3 mean the tumor has grown and spread to nearby regional tissues. And stage 4 means the cancer has unfortunately metastasized to distant organs. Staging is crucial because it tells the medical team exactly how far the rebellion has progressed, allowing them to plan the absolute best counterattack. And let me tell you, today's modern medical arsenal is massive. We are way beyond just doing surgery to remove a mass. We use chemotherapy and radiotherapy for systemic attacks to destroy those fast-dividing cells. But the real game changers are in precision treatments. Immunotherapy actually trains the patient's own immune system to hunt down the cancer. Targeted therapies hone in on a tumor's specific genetic mutations. We've also got hormone therapies, stem cell transplants, and precision medicine that's tailored uniquely to an individual's biology. All right, Section 4, Prevention and Common Myths, Taking Control and Busting Falsehoods. While we obviously can't control everything, we can definitely put our shields up. Quitting smoking and using sun protection directly prevent the DNA damage we talked about earlier. Maintaining a healthy weight through diet and exercise builds up your overall resilience. Getting vaccinated can literally block cancer-causing viruses like HPV. And maybe most importantly, scheduling regular medical screenings ensures that if a rebellion does start, you catch it at stage 0 before it ever gets a chance to spread.
Now, let's do a quick rapid-fire myth-busting sequence because honestly, misinformation can be just as dangerous as the disease itself. First myth, cancer is contagious. Let's be very clear, it is an absolute medical fact that you cannot catch cancer from someone else like a cold or the flu. It is fundamentally a disease of your own cell's DNA.
Here's another super common one, the idea that sugar explicitly feeds cancer, and you have to cut it out entirely. The nuanced reality here is that all the cells in your body, the healthy ones and the cancer cells alike, need glucose for energy. So while a balanced diet is definitely important for your overall health, sugar doesn't solely cause or exclusively feed cancer cells in a vacuum. Let's tackle the biggest, darkest fear right now, the myth that a cancer diagnosis is an automatic death sentence. That is simply not true. The fact is, modern medicine has vastly, incredibly improved survival rates over the last few decades. Thanks to early diagnosis and those advanced treatments we just looked at, millions of people go on to live long, completely healthy lives after a diagnosis. And we'll wrap up the myths with this one. The idea that only people with bad habits, like smoking, get cancer. While smoking is for sure a massive risk factor, the hard truth is that anyone can develop this disease completely regardless of their lifestyle. Unpredictable DNA mutations, genetics, and just the simple act of aging mean that even the absolute healthiest person can face this diagnosis. Finally, Section 5, the future of medicine, hope on the horizon. Some of the innovations happening right now, we used to think they were pure science fiction. Imagine AI spotting microscopic tumors on a scan long before the human eye ever could, or liquid biopsies that can detect rebellious DNA from just a simple blood draw. We're looking at a future where CRISPR can literally edit out faulty genes, and nanotechnology can deliver drugs directly into the heart of a single cancer cell, leaving the healthy cells completely untouched. It is mind-blowing stuff. So, the crucial takeaway from all this is that while cancer begins with a single cell breaking the rules, our power over it begins with knowledge. Understanding the biology of this disease strips away that crippling fear. It empowers us to recognize our own risks, to seek help at the very first warning signs, and to fiercely support the people in our lives who are fighting their own internal cellular rebellions. I'll leave you with this final thought to ponder. How will you use this awareness to protect your health today? Whether it's finally scheduling that delayed screening, remembering to put on sunscreen, or just shifting your perspective on the incredible resilience of the human body. If this explainer brought you value today, please share it with someone you care about. Because when it comes to early detection, knowledge truly can save lives. Keep learning, stay focused, and take care of yourselves.